When two wolves meet for the first time in the wild, they have a very important decision to make: to fight or to become friends. Now, you've seen wolves before, right? They're pretty freaking scary. So it's going to take a lot for these guys to actually trust each other. How do they do it? Well, the wolf will go over to the other one, stick out their neck, and literally show each other their jugular vein. Now, if you know anything about nature, if you get bit in your jugular vein, you're pretty much as good as dead. In other words, the wolf is being vulnerable. Oh my god, the ground is fucking hot. Holy shit. Okay, sorry. This is gonna look goofy as fuck on camera. By choosing not to attack first and potentially setting themselves up to be killed, the wolf was saying to the other that, hey, I'm not gonna hurt you. You can trust me. And so it is this ability to be vulnerable that lays the foundation for a great relationship between two wolves who just recently, a couple minutes ago, were total strangers. Over the next several minutes, I will try to convince you that, just like the wolf, you too have a lot to gain out of being vulnerable. In general, I think people are just so afraid to show any sort of vulnerability these days. We have all become, as a collective, so obsessed with sharing these perfect versions of ourselves, making sure that what we post online isn't cringe, that our stomachs aren't sticking out, that we aren't simply interesting enough. I'm a dude, so I very much understand what it's like to have friendships that are like 90 to 100% just shooting the shit. You know, class sucked today. I got rejected again from another internship. Did you see Anthony Edwards broke his finger while dunking on John Collins? That type of shit. But to me, I feel like I need to know someone at a deeper level in order for me to really feel like I fuck with them. And to be clear here, I only use the term fuck with to describe people who I'm actually considered really good friends. There are studies out there to basically have people do something embarrassing on purpose, like tripping over the stairs, spilling coffee on their way to class. And what these scientists, these psychologists, or whatever you want to call them, have found is that when these people do this, they do something embarrassing, the others around them actually view that person as more likable. I feel like whenever I would do something stupid, which I did a lot as a kid, I was clumsy and I got bullied a lot, I would think, you know, fuck, I didn't want to do that. Now everyone's gonna think I'm stupid. Now everyone's gonna think I'm an idiot, whatever. But by many accounts, I think people like other people who seem, you know, human. I guess human. They make mistakes. They have issues. They have desires that sometimes aren't fulfilled, and they fail sometimes. I think it's a universal experience that we all just seem to hate fake people. People who just do everything they can to keep up appearances, who reek of inauthentic. How do I say that word? I've said this line like 3 times. Who reek of inauthenticity. A real life person does not have everything figured out. They aren't always having a good time, and they're not secure about absolutely everything, no matter how much they want to convince you otherwise. I think the first time I realized that being vulnerable wasn't so bad was actually my freshman year of college. So May 2021, we're all moving out from freshman year for the first time. You see, one of my friends, pretty quiet guy, pretty reserved, wasn't very expressive. While he was loading his stuff up onto his parents' car, he started crying. And, you know, at the time, I was like, that shit was pretty cool. I mean, he showed us that he cared a lot about us, our friends, the relationships that he made over the past several months. To be honest, I still don't know if I'm in a state of my mind where would be comfortable crying in front of literally anyone. People aren't going to only appreciate you for being vulnerable when it applies to them because you're grateful for the relationship you have with them. I think for myself, and I think most other people who aren't, you know, completely brain rotted from current social media, can respect and admire even people when they're being passionate, when they're passionate about something, when something matters to them a lot and they get emotional about it. I think that moves people. That moves me at least.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Are you waiting for someone, or you need somebody to hit, or?
I have some friendships where the other person is like clearly afraid of talking about anything on a deeper or more personal level than I am. And what ends up happening is that whenever we have a sort of deeper conversation, it usually revolves around me or my life and my problems. And this even happens with some of the people that I consider my closest and like longest tenured friends as well. I mean, I appreciate it. I appreciate you being willing to play the role of the therapist friend with me, but sometimes I would like to also be the therapist friend. I appreciate it, but it's not really the type of relationship or the type of friendship that I'm looking for. I want to get to know you, bro. Like, I want to get to know you as much as you get to know me. Over time, I think I've become like, I guess, as corny as it sounds, like really interested in other people's stories. You know, what made you fall in love with coding or lacrosse or photography? Why do you identify as a people pleaser, or why do you think you're an extrovert? What do you really want out of your life? Obviously, these are not questions that you would ask a random person on the street. These are not questions that you bring up out of the blue, even with your closest friends. But if you ease into that type of conversation and you start to dig deeper, and obviously the other person is in the mood for that type of conversation, those are the ones that are the most rewarding to me. Maybe they're not the most fun, maybe they're not the most enjoyable even, but those are the most rewarding conversations in my mind. And at the end of the day, I think it's legitimate, intimate human connection that is what makes life enjoyable. It's what makes life fun. To me, being vulnerable is not really something to even consider anymore. It's not even something to like question doing. I've been called brave or admirable for sharing about a lot of the traumas I've experienced in the past, and I guess like how incredibly lost or unworthy I feel at times like online. And I'm not saying like you should trauma dump on someone as soon as you meet them. Like that's really unhealthy. Don't do that. That's really weird. That's like the other side of the spectrum I'm talking about. I think I've accepted the fact that whatever I do for my job, it's probably gonna be something in corporate. It's probably gonna be something that doesn't really impact people's lives in a great way, you know? And I think as for me, the way I've decided that I want to make a net positive impact on the world by existing is to share my experiences and share the lessons I've learned, and be willing to be open about all the mistakes I made with my life. There's some things I know that like almost none of my friends would be comfortable sharing online, or even with like anyone else, that I just yap about online. For me, I think I've been really lucky to have been greeted with such great responses from my friends, acquaintances, and random people online whenever I do this type of thing. I've become just more and more encouraged to just like be myself, to be authentic, to like not hide anything. The fact that I'm able to talk about some of my own worst qualities and some of my own worst moments and most embarrassing things about myself, and people still seem to like me and appreciate me and like personality, it's just giving me so much more confidence in who I am as a person, that, you know, I'm worth something. At the end of the day, I've learned to be fearless in being vulnerable, because anyone who uses that to hurt you didn't deserve to have you at your strongest anyway. Let's make this part of the video quick. I scripted a lot of that video, obviously, but this is gonna be the first episode in a series I'm gonna call Simple Saturdays. These are videos that are gonna have not that much editing to them. Obviously, I have a very fucked up upload schedule. You know, I don't upload for like months at a time. And I feel really bad about that, because seriously, content creation, making videos, talking to a camera is like one of my favorite things to do. And so I know that a lot of people would want me to post more. So I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try to make videos that aren't as edited, that don't take me like an hour to just make a minute of video. My goal for each of these videos in the series is to spend like only between 1 to 3 hours editing, right? So put some background music on, cut out the times where I yap too much. But other than that, just like make simple videos, but have like a good idea of what I'm talking about. I have like a 20-page Google Doc of just ideas. It's just a bunch of bullet points of like 100, 200 video ideas that I could make, and I want to start getting through them, right? So every 1 to 2 weeks, especially during the summer, I want to make a video on Saturday that addresses something that's important to me. Let me know if you like this format, if you're okay with it, if you want to see more videos like this in the future. On the screen is probably gonna be the video topic for next Saturday, so be prepared for that. But yeah, stay anxious everyone, have a beautiful rest of your day, and peace.